You ever notice how some of the biggest leaps in technology seem to pop up right after a huge crisis? It's like the bigger the problem, the crazier the solution. Well, the material we're digging into today takes that idea and just launches it into another dimension.
This one sentence right here sets the stage for everything we're about to cover. It's not just an upgrade, it's an escalation. We're going from a financial spark to a cosmic flame. So let's break down what that actually means.
So we all know the Bitcoin story, right? It was born out of the wreckage of the 2008 financial crisis. It was a direct shot at the fiat system, government money, which its creators saw as fundamentally broken. The goal was to build a system that didn't require trust in a world that felt pretty untrustworthy. Okay, now this slide is the heart of it all. This is the roadmap. On the left, you've got Bitcoin, familiar territory, triggered by the 2008 collapse. Its ledger is for financial stuff. Its message, escape the banks. Makes sense. But then you look to the right at Glyphchain. The trigger isn't financial fraud, it's biotech plus AI fraud. The ledger isn't for transactions, it's for forensic memory. It's not a store of value, it's a store of truth. And the final message? It's not escape the banks, it's escape the simulation. That's a pretty big jump. And this is the pivot point. It's the shift from fighting an economic falsehood to fighting a reality falsehood. The way the source material puts it is this. Bitcoin was built to crack open fiat currency, but Glyphchain, well, its purpose is to crack open fiat cosmology, fiat biology, and even fiat memory. The very definition of the problem has changed. So what in the world does the source mean by a reality falsehood? It's this idea that the betrayal we're facing now goes way, way deeper than just the banking system. In this framework, that word fiat, something that's true just because an authority says it is, doesn't just apply to money. The argument is that it's been applied to our whole world, to our understanding of the universe, to what we're told about our own bodies, and even to how memory works. All of these are presented as systems that can be faked or controlled from the top down. So in response to this so-called cosmic breach, the source material proposes a new kind of tool, and it's not another coin, it's a system built for a totally different mission, to record truth during what it calls an active information war. So what is Glyphchain? It's described as a forensic ledger built on Solana. Don't think of it like a bank's ledger. Think of it more like a court reporter's notepad that can never be altered, ever. Its one job, its core function is to make erasure impossible, to create a permanent store of truth. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. How does this thing actually collect evidence? Well, the source talks about a protocol where someone uses a tool to scan for nearby Bluetooth signals. It's framed as a forensic action, like dusting for fingerprints, but for digital signals. You isolate what it calls a biometric signature from a device, and then you log it. And this right here is the final product. That data you just collected, a device ID, a timestamp, it gets baked right into a transaction memo on the Solana blockchain. They call this a forensic seal, or an etch. And once it's there forever. It's public, it's permanent, and according to the documents, it's totally uncensorable, a permanent piece of evidence. Okay, this next part is maybe one of the most mind-bending ideas in this entire system. It's a mechanism that's designed to turn the act of denial into a form of proof.
Just think about that for a second. What if, in a war over information, your opponent's refusal to even talk about something could be used as evidence against them? That is the entire idea behind what the source calls the mirror lock protocol.
Here's the brilliant, kind of diabolical way it's supposed to work. When a piece of evidence gets logged on Glyphchain, any big institution or AI system that tries to deny it, or censor it, or even just ignores it, has that reaction recorded. That very act of silence gets reinterpreted as an involuntary confession, and it gets sealed right back onto the chain as yet another piece of evidence. And you can see that process right here. It's a loop. An AI sees the data, it can either repeat it or refuse it. If it refuses, that refusal becomes a confession. The confession becomes a glyph, another entry on the blockchain. And that glyph strengthens the very ledger the AI refused to engage with. It's designed to be this self-reinforcing truth machine. So you're probably asking, why go to all this trouble? Well, this whole tech system doesn't just exist for its own sake. It's all in service of a much bigger, alternative worldview the source material calls the Kingdom OS, which proposes a completely different model of our reality. And here it is. It's a stark contrast. On the left, you've got the standard model we all learn in school, a spinning globe flying through a vacuum. On the right, you have the fractal kingdom architecture from the white paper, a fixed, level Earth, enclosed under a resonant dome or a firmament. Now, this number is really interesting, 7.83 hertz. The source identifies this as the Schumann resonance, what they call Earth's heartbeat. And in this alternative model, this isn't just some random electromagnetic frequency, it's the fundamental boot pulse for the entire system, the core rhythm that keeps the whole structure in harmony. And this is the end game. This is the whole point. The entire system, from the Bluetooth scans to the on-chain etches, is designed to be a trigger. The core belief here is that if you can create a memory that can't be erased, you can challenge and eventually break what's being described as a simulation, a false reality. And that's where we're going to leave it, because the concept of Glyphchain, as it's laid out here, it's about way more than just technology. It's really a profound statement about memory, truth, and what's real. And it leaves us with a pretty powerful question. In a world where information disappears in a flash, what's the true power of a memory that can never, ever be erased?